This is Cas with Anora, and you're watching the Chat with Chaps live show.
April Fool's Day, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Chat with Chaps, the live midweek show. Great to have you all on board. Thank you for joining us. Lots already linking in, and I'll go to your messages and do all your introductions in a minute. Disco Steve here, covering for Joe. Tough act to follow, but Joe is off. I think he's off seeing some wrestling or something in London tonight, so he can't be with us, but I'm sure he'll be back as soon as he possibly can. But I am joined by two esteemed guests, as you would expect for this quality of show. And first and foremost, if I can just go down below me, there is a big welcome back to the Sicilian godfather himself, Mr. Angelo Mialotto. Welcome, Angelo. Welcome back.
Hello, Steve. How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm really good. Great to have you on, mate.
So it's taken. So all because Joe's gone on a dirty weekend away. Yeah, that I get called back. Is that right?
You said you wouldn't mention that.
He's on a dirty weekend away, Steve. Call the reserves. Call the reserves in, eh?
Yes, absolutely. We'll do our best to cover for him. And then to my other side here is somebody that needs no introduction now. He's done a good few shows for us now, getting rave reviews from all our pundits who dial in every week. And he's no relation to the Jones over the other side of South London with the anoraks. It is our very own Stephen Jones. Welcome, Stephen.
Oh, you're very, very kind. I was just going to say, last week it was Ronnie Ball and Joe and yourself, and who would have thought that you were the star of the show? So they kicked off Ronnie Ball, they kicked off Joe, and they left you in.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's a really good point, actually. And I might be able to get a few more words in tonight because it was quite a challenge last week. But what a great guest Ronnie was last week. Brilliant. Can't wait for him to come on again. A real decent, down to earth and funny guy. But now, welcome, gents. Looking forward to a action-packed show tonight. I'll go through a bit of an agenda in a minute. But look, before we start, really important for me to mention for anybody new and existing on joining us tonight, please like and subscribe. Not because we are vain and want you to say how great we are. This is all done, as you should know by now, for cancer research. Great charity, something dear to everybody's heart, and any little gesture you make by making comments, liking, subscribing, getting friends to subscribe, etc., only helps with the charitable contributions. So please do that and get your friends and family too. And I will mention, and I'll make no apology for mentioning this many times tonight, a big day for the channel on the 12th of April, Middlesbrough at home. The whole Chat with Chaps team are going to be down at the Den, hopefully getting some grateful donations from you guys for the cancer charity. And there's lots of extra bits to share with you as well. And I know that if you're on social media, you'll have seen Chris sharing a lot of ex-pros, ex-players wearing the T-shirts, and there's going to be some news on auctioning those and how to bid for those in the coming days. So watch this space for that. And I must say they look really good. If you haven't seen them yet, please have a look online and you'll see those. So I'll tell you what, let's go to the chat. And always first of a night like this is Carl. Evening, Carl. Thanks for joining us, mate. Nice and early as always. There's my old mucker, Jeff. Just got back from Sunderland. Hope you thawed out, Jeff, from Saturday. Fucking freezing up there. Evening, folks, from Matt. Hi, Matt. Welcome and thanks for joining us. Leslie Goddard Evening, lads. How are we? Yeah, we're going to share all that with you soon. Leslie, thanks for that. Craig here. Good evening, gents. Definitely feeling like the cricket season out there. Yeah, I know what you mean. And not a bad thing for me. I like my cricket. I know Stephen does as well. But we're certainly a bit of football left yet in the season for all of us, hopefully. Hiya, fellas. Good supporter of the show there, Jeff. Good to see you, Jeff. Another regular is Chris there. Thanks for joining us, Chris. Stephen's fan club here. Look, PS. Yay for Stephen. So thanks for coming on board, PS. Sorry, I might have a bit of a delay, guys, with my Wi-Fi here. I'm up in a hotel. Evening, gang, from David Turner. Hello, David. Thanks for joining us. Is it slowing up? Disco. Yeah, thanks, Carl. I'm here again. Thank you very much. Come on, keep up with me. Evening, boys, from Colin Taylor. Hiya, Colin. Thanks for joining us. What else we got? Disco is in charge again. Yahoo. You might not say that by the end of the night, Mark, but thanks very much. Evening, gents. Evening, Alex. Another gold star for you, getting here on time. Well done. Making a habit of that now. I've got one here from Ollie. I put my hands up about Brian. I got it wrong. He's been great. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we'll be talking about that, Ollie, but I'm with you there. Yeah, Bully was brilliant, Carl. What a great guest he was. Absolutely superb. Gary Miles, evening, boys. And good stuff. And what we got here, Jeff. Disco, how's your 12-inch vinyl collection going? My 12 inches are nicely tucked away now, Jeff, as I'm away tonight. So don't worry about that. And last one here, Nick Callaghan, evening all. Good to meet Disco in person at Sunderland. I forgot to introduce myself. Thought I was sitting in front of you with Phil. Oh, right. Sorry, Nick. Yes, likewise. Nice to meet you, mate. And again, hope you've thawed out as well from a bloody cold Sunderland. Right, guys, I'll do my best to keep up with the comments through the night. As you know, it's quite challenging. And I would ask my co-hosts here, guys, if you see any comments that I miss, please just give me a nudge and we'll go back to it and talk about that. So, right, guys, I said we've got a bit of an action-packed agenda for you. We're going to have a look back at the game on Saturday, Sunderland. Then we'll have a little look forward to the Pompey game on Saturday. We're going to ask you a bit later, so don't start putting it in yet, but have a think about, and we'll ask you for your thoughts on what youngsters would you like to see tried out in the team as we get into the end of the season. And I know some of you might still think we've got a chance of playoff. I don't want to be a doom and gloom, but I just can't see it, unfortunately. And I think Saturday proved that. You never say never, but I doubt it. So probably an opportunity for some youngsters to get a go. Some of you might have seen a small newspaper and a very bitter man has been having a little bit of a dig at us in the press this week. So we might have a little touch on that. We're not going to spend ages on it, but we might just touch on that and have a little bit of fun about that. And then we will talk again about the special day on the 12th of April when we're doing the cancer research funding day at the Den. And then we're going to have a little chat about who we think will be in the running for the end of season awards. So we'll get to that a bit later. So that's enough for me for now. Let's crack on. Stephen, kick us off. What did you think of Saturday's game, Sunderland?
I don't actually think we were that bad, but we wasn't that good, if that makes sense. We sort of, I know that sounds really stupid, but Sunderland fourth in the league, they started quite well, a couple of early chances, but when they scored the goal, I expected us to be under the cosh and really face a bit of a barrage of chances, but I don't quite think they did that. And to be honest with you, whilst we didn't create an awful lot, I thought we knocked the ball around nicely. We tried to play football a little bit. We were trying to be a little bit different. We knocked it up a bit longer to Josh Coburn at times, but we just, as always, and I've said it every show that I've been on since I've been with you guys. how
I
are
know
we
what's
trying
coming.
to score a goal? How are we trying to score a goal? And I obviously you were there, Steve, and just watching the game at home, just thinking, I don't know what the game plan is. I don't know how we're trying to score a goal. And I think Lucas Jensen deserves plaudits. I think he kept it respectable. I would say probably 3 big saves, including the penalty. But 3 or 4-0 would have flattered Sunderland, I think. I don't think they were particularly that good. We just didn't have, as always, forward options that could hurt them. We just were waiting for a spark that just never appeared.
Yeah, I think that's a good summary, to be honest. And Angelo, anything to add to that?
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird. I don't know, like the atmosphere, and it had a little bit of the end of season feel to it. Like I wasn't even that looking forward to even watching the game. I don't know, it was a bit weird, but I thought we'd done all right, and for once, we had more possession than the other team. I believe we had, was it 58% possession or something? But yeah, like Stephen just said, I wasn't that impressed with Sunderland, and I think we had, we could have walked out of there with a draw. We had four reasonable chances that I remember. There's the one where Imaku sort of like just crosses the ball into the 6-yard box, and Coburn just can't stretch enough just to get his foot on the end of it. I think the best chance was Kundal's. He's got a free. Imaku's made the little run to the left just to give him a couple of seconds, and it's such a weak, piss poor effort. He should be blasting that into the goal, shouldn't he? Do you remember that chance, Steve?
Yeah, I actually thought it was Connolly that. Wasn't it Connolly that had that sort of he picked the little P roller into the keeper's gloves?
No, that was Kundal.
Oh, I thought it was fair. I thought
Kundal,
it was Connolly,
left-footed, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah,
left-footed. Yeah.
And then obviously the Serb had a chance, didn't he? Where he just couldn't control it quick enough right to death to try and get us that equalised. And then obviously we had the Coburn header, didn't we, as well? Which was unfortunately straight into the goalkeeper's arms. But yeah, so listen, if we could take 1 out of them 4 chances, we could have walked out of there with a point, which is a reasonable result against a Sunderland team that's been good most of the season, although they have gone off the ball a little bit. That guy was causing us a lot of problems, wasn't it? Mundell and Roberts. They were really, and Roberts was causing us problems as well, I thought. But yeah, Kundal, I don't know if we're going to speak about Kundal. First half, it was a little bit better from Kundal, but the second half, he was just back to his normal shit, Do you know what it is with Kundal? I just feel he's like a little boy, isn't he? He's like, he needs to really strengthen up. He's definitely got technical ability, but he's just too small and too weak, and he needs to work on the gym, I think, for him to improve. But yeah, listen, we could have come away with a draw, but I wouldn't say Sunderland definitely deserved it. And then obviously Jensen with a penalty save, and like Stephen said, the save from the header was world class. The penalty, I actually thought he was off his line quite early to save that penalty. It was a piss poor penalty, but yeah, yeah, that's it. Really, that's all I've got to say about that game. Really, Disco.
It's interesting, Stephen started there, didn't you? What was your phrase, Stephen? We didn't play very particularly well, and go on, say, what did you say?
We weren't bad, but we wasn't good. Just to touch on that, and I Steve, to bring it back to you and to ask you that Alex Neil made a big thing about attacking the last few games, and look, you're not going to go to Sunderland and go gung ho from minute 1. I can accept that, I can understand it, and we were 1-0 down, fine. But at half time, thinking, as I say, they didn't try to go for the kill. They sat off a little bit at 1-0 in the first half. The opportunity was there to really have a go. At this stage of the season, when you're relatively safe, getting beat 1-0, getting beat 3-0 doesn't really make that much of a difference, because it just doesn't. And I really expected us to come out and just have a go. You were there. You probably thought the same. The people around you probably thought, we've got nothing to lose. We've got to try and get something from this game. And we just didn't do it. And from your point of view and from the feel in the crowd, what do you think? Why do you think we didn't do it?
I think Jeff sums it up well there, and we were saying that on the terrace Saturday. You know, look, I personally, I thought there'd be tonight. Thought there'd be a bit more negativity about the performance, but I'm in the camp actually. Like you say, Stephen, we weren't particularly good, but we weren't particularly bad. And in some instances, our passing, like Jeff's saying around there, is actually quite decent. Now, but we don't create enough. I mean, we've reeled off there 3 or 4 chances that we did actually create. And in any game, to create 3 or 4 decent chances, the header from Coburn was a very good chance. He puts that either side of the keeper, it's a goal, simple as. There was the one in the first half when Imako slid it across the area, and I think he was a gnat's widger when he away from getting his toe on the end of it. Coburn could easily have slotted that in. That was a close chance. Ivanovic, if he'd have controlled it a little better at the end, it's a goal, simple as. Kundal, you say, Angelo, you're right. It opened for him, didn't it? And you thought, should he put it out wide? But he then had a really poor shot. So actually, we did have a few chances, but I think what Jeff's alluding to there is what we were saying on the pitch, on the terrace, that we don't look like we're going to score. Your point, Stephen, of what is the plan? It doesn't look like we're going to score. You don't feel, hang on, it's coming, the goal is coming. It doesn't feel like that at all, does it? And that's the biggest frustration. And let's be sorry, but let me just. What's frustrating is they were there for the taking. Without a doubt, they are a decent side, but they were there for the taking. And they're a bit stuck, aren't they? They're definitely in the playoffs. They're not going to go straight up. So, and they've got a lot of injuries. So they're probably, a little bit going through the motions. Stephen, you're right. We should have come out second half and really gone for it. And who knows what would have happened. Sorry, Angela.
Yeah, I'd like to get your opinion, you two, and obviously everyone in the chat, the opinion on their goal. I watched Joe's post match, and Joe was pointing the blame at Imako, which I thought was a little bit harsh, because I felt like Imako was like Rowett never used to leave a striker up, did he? Like, when the opposition had a corner. Right. But I've noticed that Alex Neil likes to do that, which was Imako. I think the guy that I blame more for that was Kundal, because Kundal is just standing on the the just by the 18-yard box. Right. You can't blame Kramer, because Kramer's got to go in the box because he's 6'2", needs to be in there for the header. And I'd just like to get your thoughts, because it's literally that guy's just got a free shot on goal, which should never really happen. But I just thought it was a bit harsh to blame Imako for that one. Although I know he didn't have a great game, but I'm pointing more the blame at Kundal. But it's a shit goal to give away, isn't it?
I'll be honest with you. Yeah, it is. It's terrible goal to concede. I think Alex Neil would be absolutely would have been fuming. Probably give him a bit of a rollicking at half time. I actually just blame the collective, the setup, the whole setup. At short corners are the bane of my life. We can never get them right. We never ever get a short corner right. As soon as we go short, we end up giving the ball away. But opposition teams, I've seen so many comments on this. We get caught out by a short corner so often. Doesn't always lead to a goal, but we always leave. It's always one man against two all the time. Now in the build up to this one, I actually think it was Connolly that was blocked off by one of the Sunderland players. He's literally stood there, arms out, stopping Connolly get out to block the short corner. So you've got to give them credit. You've also got to give them credit that they've clearly worked on short corner, ping it to the back post. Someone's free to run in and hit it. The fact it goes in, obviously, they've hit the jackpot with it. But it's the collective setup that we get caught out from any team that has any form of set piece routine that goes from a short corner or tries to do something outside of, rather than just slinging it in the box. We don't have an answer for it. And you'd think, and I understand, and Angelo, I must admit, it used to drive me absolutely insane that Gary Rowett and Neil Harris, to a certain extent, did not leave a striker up the pitch when you've got someone like Imako on the pitch that 1-on-1 or 1-on-2 can absolutely tear off. It used to drive me mad. just for the time being, the fact that we keep getting caught out for short corners, put two men there to stop teams doing it. Let them pump the ball into the box. We've got Kramer 6'3", whatever he is. We've got Jaff's good in the air, 6 foot. Cooper 6'6". Coburn 6'4". Let teams cross the ball and say, if you score a head against us, fair play. Not play into their hands and let them do what they want to do and dictate the short corners.
I think for all the plaudits of Alex Neil in terms of he's a master, not tactician, but he's a master at planning. You know, his attention to detail is off the scale. Well, it isn't for short corners, is it? I mean, and it's been more since he's come in that has been a failing of ours, without a doubt, and it's been very, very worrying. I'll take a different stance, though, guys. You won't like to hear this, and nobody else will want to sort of hear this, but I think it was a bloody good goal. When you watch it, your team does that off the training ground, you're over the moon. You said it, Stephen. They did a job on Connolly. Now, he should have been sharper, but they did a job on it. All that bloke did was blocked him. That was his role. Right out the sight of the ref, he blocks him. The fullback comes round the back, then nobody's watching him because it's clear, and they lay it back, straight across. It's a great finish. He hits it perfectly. It's a great goal. And it's frustrating for us, but you watch it and think, yeah, we could have done better, and we can blame him. Actually, it's a bloody good bit of work off the training ground. And wouldn't you love us to be a bit more creative like that? Absolutely. You know, that's what I'd want to see.
That point there, what you just said, us to being a little bit more creative. I don't want us to start taking short corners, as I say, they're the bane of my life because we never get them right. We just don't. But we have the one tactic, and it tends to be that we go for the back post because Cooper he tends to be at the back post to try and win that flick onto, then nod it back across goal. It just, I'm not saying we've got to hire a set piece coach and try and reinvent the wheel, but opposition teams, there's a comment that I think you might get to, Steve, saying that we've always been strong in the air, so I'm surprised that teams go short against us. It would work the same way for us. Everybody expects us to knock it into Jake Cooper in the box. Maybe we need to be looking outside the box to try and score some goals. It's not just defending them, but it's also being able to have the kind of genius to do it. And as you say, we score that goal, or you see that goal in the Premier League, everyone's raving about it for the next week because it was a very good goal. As you say, frustrating. You don't want to sit here and compliment a goal that's gone against us, but sometimes you have to say, yeah, fair play, they did well there.
Listen, definitely good goal, but we've always got to look at how can we stop that goal, you know?
100%.
Good goal. I agree with this goal.
I think even Alex says at the end, doesn't he? He comments it's a good goal from their point of view and a bad one from ours. So I think he's grudgingly saying, "Fuck me, that looked a good move." What do you think of that? There's a good point there. Their winger looked very tricky. Both wingers very tricky and put us under pressure. Did we get that from Emakhu?
Well, let's talk about Emakhu, right? Like, I am an Emakhu fan, and I know that there's a couple of guys in our chat that are not Emakhu fans. Yeah, what frustrates me about Emakhu is that every time we give him a chance to start the game, he lets us down. He doesn't take his opportunity, does he? You know, we're starting you. Show us what you do when you come on as an impact sub. And he's just not doing it. I don't know whether he can't handle the pressure. I don't know whether he's thinking, oh, I've got the whole game to go. And you know, takes his foot off the gas. You know, he's not 100% focused. But he just does not do it when he starts games. But coming off the bench, you know, he gets me off my seat, you know. He's such a frustrating player.
Do you think, Angelo, and I've said this, when he starts game, he often doesn't look fit. He doesn't look like he can run past opposition players. He doesn't have that lightning speed when he first starts. You're right. When he comes off the bench, he does get you off your seat. Like, there's a couple of games at home and you really do get excited by him. But he just seems to me that to start games, he just cannot impact games that well when he starts. To me, as I say, he just doesn't look like he can take anyone on ever when he starts.
What worried me was he didn't even try Saturday. He got the ball a couple of times wide and he cut back inside and went back instead of, as you say, that's his strength, isn't it? push it in front of them and burn you off for pace. So whether he thought the fullback had him in his pocket already, but that was a bit disappointing. I don't want to blame the lad, you know. I'm still a big fan. I still think he's got a lot to offer. Worryingly, he got pushed off the ball a bit too easily. You talk about Cundall and Connolly and some of our smaller players, but he's a big, strong lad. He should be stronger and not be getting bullied off the ball like he does, as with a few of our players. And I guess that's fitness a little bit.
I also think he is a little bit of a hothead. I think there's a couple of occasions where he goes in for things that, and I get sometimes he's probably been frustrated, especially under Harris. But you know, I think he was booked on Saturday, and then shortly after went in on another little tackle, and you just sort of. I think there's definitely a player in there, and I'm not blaming Amaku for our performance or lack of, you know, goals and stuff on Saturday. I think there's a lot of players that can be looked at for that, but I just don't. I think he needs to be a bench player coming off the bench and being an impact player for me.
I'm still and look, I think it's a bit needs must at the moment. Look, we're not blessed with winger that's available, are we, right now? So that's why he's probably more getting his chance. What about Coburn? What did you think of Coburn Saturday?
Yeah, quite disappointing, really, didn't he? But again, he had 2 chances, puts one of them away. We accept it, don't we? But yeah, I can remember when he come on for his debut. Was it Sheffield Wednesday at home? I think it was Sheffield Wednesday at home. He come on for his debut.
He scored on his debut.
Yeah, but he was so good. Like the first 20 minutes, I remember turning around to my son and saying, "Wow, we got a player that can hold the ball up. He's strong. You know, can battle against the defenders." But he hasn't been as good since then. I know he's had his injury problems as well. I read an article today as well, right? Because there's a lot of people saying, I don't know if we should get him because of his injury record. He actually said in the article, it was on the South London Press, he's never been injured before. It's only this season that he's had these 2 injuries. Right. So, you know, because a lot of people were saying, you know, is he injury prone? We don't want to be spending the money if he's injury prone, but maybe he's just been unlucky this season.
I thought Borough fans said he's had a few injuries. I'm sure they did, but anyway, it's nice of him to save them for us, isn't it? Yeah,
that's on the press.
It's always.
Yeah.
But I was a bit. Look, I love him. And I still would say, with the right money, I would buy him. I think there's definitely a player in there. I just thought, and there was a couple around us said the same on Saturday. The centre half, O'Nien, who's not the biggest player. Look, he's an aggressive of him all the time. And I'm telling you now, it was more down to just will than skill. He just wanted it. And that was disappointing. Coburn was a bit half-hearted, you know, getting in front of a defender and letting him, you know, Stevie Morrison, like, you ain't getting in front of me to get this ball, it's coming to me. And he was a bit easily pushed off the ball, which worried me. I personally don't think he's put in as much, not effort sounds wrong. I think he's being cautious because of potential injuries. I think he's watching Oxford. He was going in like a madman, wasn't he? He had a real battle with that centre half in the first half. And funny enough, he goes off injured. So I think he's learning from that. I need to choose my battles wisely, but you've got to be careful you don't get bullied out, you know, would be my view.
The big thing about Saturday, and it doesn't matter, it really doesn't matter about how good a player plays. It matters that he is a Middlesbrough player, and we were playing Sunderland. If you can't get yourself up he's a middle. I know they're rivals. They're from the same part of the world. If it was me, you'd think I'm gonna score a goal today. I'm gonna stick one past this lot because, you know, I'm on loan from Middlesbrough. And attitude is the big thing. We talk about Jimmy Abdu being someone who wasn't the best footballer, but he had a great attitude and worked hard. We can accept our players maybe not having the best game if we can see they've left everything out there. But the fact that he didn't, and it was against a team that is considered a rival of his parent club, it just, I don't know. I must admit, I'm losing a little bit of patience with Josh Coburn. I what I will say, again, I'll pass this back to you guys. I don't think we played to his strengths. The one time, or the two times we played to his strength, we put the ball in the box. He almost got there from a Maku, and the cross from Leonard. If you play to his strengths, you might get the best out of him, which we're not doing. But we just need to see a little bit more, and we're not getting it. We're just not getting it.
No, I'd agree with that, I think. And look, I think, what do you think there, Dean's point, that disconnect between strikers, midfield and wingers, if you want to, the forward line and the midfield line, it's not connected, is it, at all?
That's actually my dad, and we talk about this all the time. So I'll if I may, we don't have Bangura Williams and Ivanovic were forming a partnership. It was a midfielder feeding the ball to the striker, and they were creating goals, and Ivanovic was getting on the end of chances. Since that's been broken up, we don't have a midfielder that's picking out a perfect pass for one of our so-called forwards to be getting on the end of or creating chances, and it is a problem. It is a huge problem.
Yeah. So I'll tell you one positive I do want to throw in there. He was only on for a short while, but I thought Lenny just looked class when he came on. Absolute class. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree, mate. His first touch was brilliant, wasn't it? From the minute he done his first touch, he was excellent, mate. And we've all when Kramer first started, we was all going, "Oh, what a player!" But Lenny is a proper right back. I think he's made that position his own. Yeah. I know that he got some more minutes today in the under-21s. So if he's fit, I think we should start him, mate. I think we should start.
I'd agree.
Him. Yeah,
I'd agree.
But yeah,
Stephen, what do you think? What impact do you think that has, Lenny coming back in, impact on Jaff, for instance, on that right side of defence? Do you think there's any sort of link there?
It's almost as if you set me up nicely there. You set me up nicely there, Steve.
Well, Imaku couldn't put it in the box, so I thought I would get it over for you.
I've been having a little look at a few past results and just a couple of watching our defence, and I'm sure and the listeners and you guys might agree, disagree, but this is what I think. Pre-Christmas or pre-Leonard getting injured, how many times were we going to games and we do shows and you see the comments or social media, our left-hand side was getting an absolute battering. Joe Bryan was getting hammered every week. Cooper wasn't at his best. Let's be honest, he wasn't early part of the season, and he got injured, and we had Murray Wallace, you had Sean Hutchinson filling in. It just wasn't working. Our right-hand side, in my opinion, is one of the best right-hand side of defence in the league. We had Leonard and Tanganga, who were both playing well. Tanganga was on course for being the player of the season. Leonard absolutely storming at right back. I agree with Angelo. He's absolutely superb. He's made that position his own. He's absolutely the right player to be playing there. Leonard gets injured just after Christmas, because in January, because we were talking about getting a replacement in, wasn't we? We all said we needed a right back because McNamara got injured in the same game. And I don't think it's any coincidence that we lose Leonard, Tristan Crammer comes in, and again, I'm not it's not solely him, but Japhet Tanganga has not been the same player since Ryan Leonard left the team. The left-hand side of the defence have been excellent. Joe Bryan's been in Team of the Week. He's had all the plaudits. He's been really, really good. Jake Cooper, again, at Watford was excellent. The right-hand side, Tanganga's under more pressure with Tristan Crammer in the team because he's just not Ryan Leonard at right back. He's just not a right back. And I don't think it's any coincidence that Jaff is under pressure. Some people will go, "Oh, you're looking too much into it. Tanganga's just out of form." I think players' confidence with the players that are around them. The goalkeeper is one. There was a comment that was put up. I'm sure we'll talk about the confidence that the players have in the goalkeeper. I don't think Japhet Tanganga plays the same without someone he feels comfortable and trust at right back. And I just don't think he has the same trust in Crammer than he does in Leonard. And he's asked to do more defending, which is why he's under more pressure, which is why he isn't the same player as he was pre-Christmas.
Yeah, Stephen, I think that's a fantastic point you made there. I really do, mate. And it makes sense. Bring Lenny back. We got Bryan playing out of his skin. Cooper has improved, especially with his passing, and then hopefully Tanganga will we'll get the confidence from Lenny being beside him, and we'll have a rock solid defence again. You know? Yeah, great.
It's also with Leonard. It's no coincidence. A couple of good touches. The ball to Coburn, I think you mentioned it earlier, Angelo, was spot on, absolutely perfect, right on his head, giving the perfect opportunity to get a chance on goal. Crammer, okay, to his credit, has got a couple of assists. He's put some good crosses in for Coburn at Watford. Excuse me, but you need proper players playing in their proper positions, and I think it would raise the standard of other players. And I think having Leonard at right back, I know someone said, and I was talking about this, and someone said he'd be up against Josh Murphy, who is absolutely on fire at the moment. But would we rather Josh Murphy taking on Tristan Crammer, or would we rather Josh Murphy taking on Ryan Leonard? I know who I would rather have in the team, and I'm sure you guys would agree who you would rather have in the team. And again, I don't want to put Crammer, I'm not throwing him under the bus. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he's asked to play a role that he's filled in as well as he can, but he's just not a right back, and he's just not Ryan Leonard.
Yeah. No, listen, like Angela, I think that's a really good bit of analysis, Stephen. And look, really, absolutely clear as day, isn't it? That Joe Bryan and the left was targeted earlier in the season, and now it's gone the other side. So that is teams looking at that. The quicker look, Lenny's played today, as you say, Angelo. I'd like to think he starts Saturday, which I think will be a huge boost for us, and get that back line back to more familiar, a familiar 4-5 that we've had. Talking of which, some comments there about Jensen. For me, again, I think it's already been mentioned. 3 really good saves. The penalty save, really good for his confidence. The header, the save from the header, fantastic. He still worries me. His kicking again was appalling, but look, he's there to keep the ball out the net. And I thought he did really, really well.
So Steve, there was a comment. Was it Mark about Jensen?
Yes.
If you can get that up, mate.
Yeah.
So obviously, our leader, Chris, Chaps, the main man, he's always going on about this, isn't he? Every time Jensen makes a save, the whole season, nobody goes up to him, pats him on the back, shakes his hand. I don't know what's going on there. It's really weird situation where is it his character? Is he not getting on with the players? It's a weird one. It's a weird one, mate.
Just for the benefit of those that are listening on a podcast, the comment from Mark is, what is it with none of the players giving Jensen a pat on the back every time he pulls off a good save? Happening all the time now, pretty much blanked after the penalty. Basically, obviously those that are listening don't get to see the comments, but I hadn't noticed it. I don't know if you guys did. I actually looked back at the Watford save. I looked back at the Stoke save just to see what happens. Now, a couple of them, the ball stays in play. The penalty, the ball actually didn't go out. The players are not going to go up to him and give him a high five because we've got to carry on with the game. But I do see now that there is a little bit of an issue. If there is a problem like that, we have a big issue. Again, I said earlier about trust, players trusting in each other. If they don't trust the goalkeeper, we don't want to spread any fake news or rumours, but that would be a problem if that's true.
Yeah, but also, Stephen, I am going to back Jensen here, right? Because we have played 39 games this season. Yeah. Apart from his little wobbler, the first game of the season, I don't recall him making any errors that has cost us goals. Yes, he's flapped at a few corners. Yes, he has. Yeah. But no other keeper that we've had for a long, long time has gone 38 games without making a mistake that's cost us a goal. So I want to give him a lot of credit, mate, because, he does make some outstanding saves and he doesn't make that many errors. And what more do you want,
There's something, isn't there? There's something with fans and possibly the team, as you say. There's definitely some strange that they're not all high-fiving or just giving him a sort of a shove on the back, that at the appropriate time for making a great save or especially a penalty save. I get that, Stephen. Not when the ball's still in play, but it goes out of play. You normally get a couple of players give you a high five as such. I know Roy Keane, like somebody said, didn't they? Roy Keane is saying it's his job, to save the ball. But there's normally a bit of camaraderie, which doesn't look funny. And there isn't with the fans. It's a very split with fans, isn't it? I'm not 100% on him, but then when you talk like that, Angelo, you think, you're bloody right. He's made some great match-winning saves, with stopping teams from scoring and us then scoring late on to either get an equaliser or win the game. So probably a bit harsh. He's a difficult one, and he's had a tough first season, bless him, But
I also think there's a hint of, and I hate to say this, but there is a hint of as well. Mati Sarkic was becoming an excellent goalkeeper. He was really, really good. God bless him, and it's tragic what happened. It's awful. It really, really is. To come in as a goalkeeper, knowing you're replacing someone not that's passed away, they're not being sold under those circumstances, it is really, really difficult. And I think the fans would have expected a lot to be coming in as the number one. You expected him to be of that standard. He's not quite at Matty's standard, in my opinion, but I think he cops a lot of unfair criticism. And his kicking and distribution and whatever, I think it is his first season. He's going to lose the tag of he is Matty's replacement. I know he is, but next season he'll be a number one goalkeeper, and maybe he'll settle a little bit more.
Stephen, do you know what really impressed me about Jensen? Them balls that come flying onto the 6-yard box where you have to dive and it bounces just in front of you. You have to scoop it. Yeah, he's never ever let one slip, mate. Not that I can recall. He's very, very good at scooping them balls up as well.
Yeah,
I'm saying he's had a good season, tough season because of the circumstances, but I'm relatively happy. My only concern that also, apart from the not getting the pats on the back, it was happening more earlier in the season. That any time anything happened, he was trying to blame someone else. He kept putting his arms out. Did you remember that? Yeah, blaming everybody bar himself. But I feel that's calmed down a little bit. He's not doing that as often. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a disconnect in the dressing room. I'm not sure. I hope there isn't. And and like you said, we don't want to spread rumours or anything. But it's a lot of people noticing he's not getting much love from the defenders.
And look, let's be honest. We need him right now. We need him big time because we ain't got a lot in backup, with the greatest respect to is it George Evans on the bench right now? Very inexperienced. Good news, that's Liam Roberts 4 games down. So he's Saturday and Tuesday at Sheffield. He's back available, isn't he? So that'll be great.
I think he only misses
one. Is it 5 now?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it one more? All right. Well, even better news then.
Yeah.
So he's available for Sheffield United, do you think?
Yeah, let's have a look.
Was he on the bench? Did he start for the development team today?
He played today.
Yeah, I thought so. That's why I think he may be close. I think it might only be one more game. They're getting him some minutes, getting him match practice to be ready to go next week.
Ready. It is 5. Bristol City, Watford, Leeds, Stoke and Sunderland. Yeah, he's got one more. And then he's back.
So it's 5. So he's got just one game. He's just got Pompey Saturday.
Pompey, and he's back. Yeah, if chosen. Yeah.
Well, good. It felt like a long while considering he nearly killed someone, innit? So
Alex,
let's not go there.
Alex Neil could pull off an absolute masterstroke by picking him next Tuesday at Sheffield United. He really, really could.
Well, he's definitely going to get his name sung, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, he did Saturday as well, which was great. It'd be nice to see him on the bench as well. Look, very quickly, guys, we've had a lot of time on this, but and the listeners, please put in as well your thoughts on who should be the number 10 right now. Jeff's saying there, not Cundle. I think you've both sort of intimated Cundle's not for you. I'm going to give the guy some slack. I don't know why. I still think there's a player in there, and a bit like Aziz at the beginning of the season, who I didn't think there was a player there, has come good. I feel Cundle will. I really do. Whether it's a 10, no, I'm not sure, but I think he'll come good. But who would you play as a 10? If we're going to play this system, who would be your 10 right now of who's available?
Of who's available, with Negley injured and Bangura Williams getting a knock on international duty. The only
I'd say RBW's available. I think he's only going to be
he's
out.
back. He should be back Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, the obvious one is Bangura Williams. I touched on Negley. If he was fit, I'd like to see him in the 10 and give him an opportunity to be a little bit more central. But I think Bangura Williams just wants it a little bit more than what I think Kundal does at the moment. I think he wants the ball. He wants to turn. He wants to go forward. Kundal seems a little bit under pressure that every time he gets the ball, he's probably thinking, I've got to do something, I've got to do something. And it just doesn't seem to work. Whereas Bangura Williams is just water off a duck's back, turns and looks like he's going to set us on our way. So I think it's Bangura Williams all day long.
Angelo?
Yeah, I'm RBW. I don't mind Kundal, not Kundal, Connolly. I don't mind Connolly playing there. But yeah, Kundal, I think Kundal, just maybe next season, get in the gym, work on your strength, and then. But I'm not writing him off either, Steve. But he just needs to get a little bit more stronger, mate. Very easily brushed off the ball, that guy.
No, look, he's not done enough to warrant too much support. But I just feel there's a player. Me and my mate turned to each other Saturday at one point, and it was in the first half, saying, actually, Kundal's looking decent today. Just his touches and his movement, he looked decent. But then talking to Phil later on, he said, yeah, but he don't create anything, does he? And he didn't, and you think, well, yeah, that's a fair point. But I just feel he's bedding in still. I hope I'm right. But yeah, look, for me, I'm with you guys. RBW really needs to be given a chance. I don't think he's really had much of a chance in the 10 role so far. Connolly as well. I wonder whether it would be a 10 or almost, it sounds a bit stupid, but almost just a slightly deeper striker in a way. Why not almost 2 up front, but slightly deeper, which you can say is a 10, but not in the true sense of a link between midfield and a lone striker, more like a support striker for me. I think Connolly could really do a role there. I thought he tried far too hard Saturday. He needed to rein it in and release the ball a few times earlier, and he would have been more effective, but there's a player in there, isn't there?
The thing with Connolly did what I expected of Coburn. Connolly was a former Sunderland player. Now, by all accounts, they did like him, and he had a good rapport with the supporters, but he tried to do something against his former team. I know Coburn, it's not former team, but he did what Coburn needed to do. Go, I'll show him. But Connolly, as you say, tried a little bit too hard. But I can understand why.
He got a good
you'd rather that, wouldn't you? Yeah.
He got a good applause from the Sunderland fans when he went off as well, which was nice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
He
was a bit. It was all a bit too friendly with the Sunderland players, to be honest. There was a lot of chat going on with the people marketing, which I didn't like too much. But look, that's what it is.
Steve,
what about that?
Steve, just before we move off from Sunderland, right? Do you know what Millwall miss is that Luke 09. He's the master of the dark arts, isn't he?
Correct.
Right, Millwall have always had a couple of players like that, and we just haven't got anybody in our squad who's a little bit nasty. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, George Saville's the closest.
Yeah, he's the closest, and even he's not that. George Honeyman maybe. George Honeyman is a little bit, but I think in the summer, I know we've got our let's go and get these young players and then sell on for loads of money. We need to go out and buy a couple of nasty, dirty players. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah. But we seem too nice, don't we? And get rolled over a bit too easy.
Obviously, I'm showing my age here, but when we had Hurlock and Briley in the middle of the midfield, mate, no one could fuck with them two. Do you know what I mean?
Correct. No chance.
Yeah, they were like animals, mate, in the midfield.
Someone like Travis at Blackburn, their captain centre midfielder, someone who's a bit, strong in the tackle. I know we've been linked with him before, but it's no coincidence that we were linked with a player like that, though. That someone has identified that we don't. That maybe Dave Livermore still hanging around, saying, "Look, we need someone in there that's going to put in a couple of tackles and try." Maybe that is something that they'll look at. You can't, Angelo. I agree 100% that we've got our direction and we're going to be buying young players and we're going to be, assets, blah, 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 and make money, etc. But you do still have to have a couple of those, what I would call old school footballers, midfielders, defenders, those no nonsense like in your team. You can't just have this fancy tiki-taka squad. You have to have a little bit of steel in there.
Do you know who I loved that was great was Dennis Wise, isn't it? Dennis Wise had it all. He had the experience, nastiness, he had skill, he had a good free kick on him, he was a leader. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we need to find
quality with a little glint in his eye, as well, didn't he? All the time. That's an interesting one for a 10. Casper. I would have said that earlier in the season. I'm not so sure now, but I think he could possibly do something there from Mark. Negley, I think, has been mentioned. You said that, Stephen, didn't you? You fancy him in there. No, it's an interesting one from Alex. No votes for Honeyman. Luckily, meant in the best way, he's injured at the moment, so don't come into the reckoning. But I don't think we'd want to see him there. Yeah, people saying Negley. It's amazing, isn't it? Sort of half forget about Negley in that, he looked like he's a player and he's out. But saying that must only be a couple of weeks now, would you say? Another couple of weeks?
Another 2 weeks away.
2? Yeah, good. Here's an interesting one.
Yeah, then you might need a bit of time to get back in the swing of it.
Yeah. You got to be careful not to rush him back. I get that. Interesting. Langstaff as a 10 for Joseph. I've got to say, Joseph, I'm desperately trying not to write anybody off in this squad. And look, anybody who watches this will know at the beginning of the season, I was hugely excited about Langstaff signing, thought he was going to be mega. Saturday, when he first came on, he looked like a fish out of water. And one of his passes was appalling. And you just think he's just not got it. But look, who knows back from injury, and hopefully he could score a goal soon and it would change things. But I'll be honest, I don't see him being here next year. Do you guys?
Well, I think he will be here, mate, because I think he's got 3 years, doesn't he? I think so. Yeah,
you don't think somebody will come in for him and want him in a Division 1 or even 2? Yeah, well, let's see.
I'm going to say something controversial. I think we've got more chance of seeing Kevin Nisbet in a Millwall shirt again than we do Macaulay Langstaff.
Really?
I know he's got the deal. I know he's got the deal, Langstaff. I think he does have the 3-year deal, but he doesn't. I know Nisbet will say the same as well, but Langstaff doesn't fit the mold of what they're trying to do, and clearly it's not worked. I don't know what Alex Neil thinks of it. We none of us do, but I think for his sake, I can see him going, look, I need to either get back closer to home or maybe drop back down the level and find some confidence
But
personally.
Stephen, how many minutes has he had with Alex Neil? He hasn't. I don't think he's.
Well, he's been injured, hasn't he? So it's difficult. It is difficult, but I just feel like he is one that we took a gamble on, but maybe it was a step too far. And as you said on Saturday, Steve, when Langstaff first come on, his first touch, or the first time he had to do something, the ball pinged right on, and you just thought, oh, not again. You almost feel, you just feel like, don't you? You want to sort of put your arm around, and you really want it to work for him because he's had a tough start to life in the Championship. And when you haven't got your first touch, you just, it's really, it's sad. It is sad. It's just not worked.
But also, he's just come back from injury. He's nervous. Let's give him. I'm going to be Steve.
Yeah.
Hold on. Whoa. Ryan Leonard had been injured for ages, and his first touch, the first thing he did was absolutely quality. I thought like Steve, Langstaff was going to be a good sign. I really, really did. I thought he was going to hit the ground running, and he's just not quite worked. And
the only guy said it from the start. He ain't going to work. Is Mr. Zampa? Zampa said it straight away. This ain't going to work.
Yeah.
He was the only one.
Even he wouldn't have made that ball look good on Saturday, would he? El Zampa wouldn't have got on that and slotted it in at the den. No chance. But look, you look back though. Remember that chance against Luton when the keeper just towed it wide when he was through Langstaff. If that had gone in, you just wonder whether it would have all been different, and he'd have got, because he wasn't playing that bad at the beginning. QPR, I remember he played well, but anyway, let's see what happens. Right, listen, we're going to segue on to we've got the Pompey game, but we'll put that back. We'll come on to that in a minute. I want to go on to good point made here by David Turner. AJ Matthews is pulling up trees for the under-21s at the moment. I think he's just scored his 4th goal in 3 or something like that today in the under-21s. So give him a chance. Give him a chance in the 10. I think he's more of an out-and-out striker, but I don't 100% know. Let's segue that into what players would we like to see tried out by the end of the season? Youngsters particularly. Who would we like to see?
Well, I think the great thing, Disco, is that he's been on the bench like 2 or 3 times now, hasn't he, Matthews? Yeah. So,
yes.
To me, that means that Alex Neil is aware and he's going to give the guy a chance, So, I believe he's only 18, so he's more for next season. But yeah, let's get him on the pitch, get him his debut. Let's see how he reacts in a first team game, how he reacts to the crowd, the atmosphere. But yeah, exciting. I'm hearing good things from him as well, mate. 4 goals and coming back from an injury. So that looks positive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Regarding other players, Steve, somebody brought it to my attention that we've got a little gem in our under-21s. He's called Howland. He's a midfielder. Little ginger guy.
Scored today, I think. I think he scored again.
Today. Apparently very silky on the ball. Very creative midfielder. And I've been told he should be the next one, hopefully coming through. So we'll have to keep an eye on him, mate. Yeah, Howland.
Yeah.
And then obviously
the other kid, Lamptey deserves a chance. Hope he comes good as his brother is at Brighton. Didn't realise it was his brother. He scored today. No, I didn't know that. Yeah, he scored today as well. So
do you know what?
Exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, I saw an interview with this Lamptey a couple of months ago. Millwall TV done an interview with him, and he speaks very, very well for a young guy as well.
Right.
But yeah, there's no doubt about it, mate. Scott Fitzgerald has done a fantastic job since he's been with us. With all these youngsters coming. So, and obviously we've got Kendall as well. Kendall hasn't had much of a shot, but yeah, there's a few players there that hopefully they get a few minutes before the end of the season, mate. Especially if our season dies. Sadly, looks like it's going to die out, doesn't it? But let's give him some.
That Kendall, they reckon his pace is electric, don't they? Which is something we could hugely do with. So, Stephen, who you thinking?
I would love to see Alfie Massey get some minutes in the first team between now and the end of the season. I think he clearly is one that they had a lot of hopes with. He got into the first team. People talk of how highly. I thought he looked good, and we've just sort of. I know. I don't know if he got injured, but we've just sort of phased him out a little bit. He's not made match day squads, and I think he played for the 21s today. I think Alfie Massey is someone I'd love to have a look at a little bit more. I would like to again. I'm not saying you can play them together, but Dan Kelly, if we can get him fit, there's a reason why we paid extra money to get him when we did. There has to be a reason. We don't have the funds to be able to do that. So I would like to see him.
Yeah.
Kendall was one you've mentioned. Someone I think it would be really looks like another prospect off the conveyor belt. The South London talent pool, which everyone seems to talk about. The other one, unfortunately, that he's injured, and I don't think we'll see much of him. But I have really big high hopes for Zach Lovelace. I really think he is someone that they bought in to be playing. They didn't. I don't think they brought him in to go into the under-18s or the under-21s. I think his pace. He's another one who was electric. The fact he got injured has obviously dampened that a little bit. But I think maybe not this season, but pre-season you're going to see a lot of him, and I think you'll see him play in the Championship next year.
And he left as a boy, didn't he? He's come back as a man. He looks at a unit, doesn't he? I believe he's always
100%.
a bit of a unit. but he looks a unit, and you think, yeah, that geezer could do the business. Yeah, agree with you, Kelly and Massey in the middle. I think it was Alex saying that he saw Mayer playing at Bromley, and he played really well. Lovelace there mentioned by Jeff, as well as Kelly and Matthews. That's an interesting one from Dave Turner saying Lamptey reminds me of Malumbi. I'd be well bloody chuffed with that. I used to like old Jason Malumbi. So tell you what, isn't it bloody exciting times when you start talking like this? You know, they don't sound like possibles. They sound like genuine talent. And look, it really feels like we're going to give them the chance as well. Look, you can't give them all a chance straight away. And I do like the way Alex Neil talks about it, doesn't he? He's very level-headed and says, look, they have to build themselves up, or they have to be mentally strong, or they have to do this, they have to do that. But he's proved with RBW, he's proved with putting Matthews and Kendall on the bench. You know, he could have gone for safer bets than that. All right, they haven't come on, which is probably a little disappointing. But he'd probably argue he hasn't had the opportunity. But it's bloody exciting, isn't it? We sound like we've got a real conveyor belt of young talent coming through, which is great. And as Connor says there, look, we have a great academy. Long may it continue.
With the academy, sorry, Angela, with the academy, that point there, John Berylson kept our academy alive. He was, I'm sure I read somewhere he kept the academy alive. Now, it didn't come into fruition. We didn't sort of, you know, we weren't getting that many young players come through, but it was kept alive. It was kept going. We're at a reasonable standard. I don't think we can reach the top tier because of our facilities or something, but we're at a very good standard at that level. And Jimmy's probably carried on that good work, and Scott Fitzgerald, I think Robbo's involved with the development squad now. So they've got good Millwall people doing the business with these young players. And I think I'm not saying, and I said it earlier, you need to have some steel and some hard footballers and some know-how in our squad. But I think we're going to see an awful lot of youngsters over pre-season, and potentially given an opportunity to at least have some minutes and see what they can do.
Yeah. All I was going to say, just off the cuff, what a weird substitution right at death against Sunderland when he brought Sturge on like 1 minute. What was all that about? That was weird, wasn't it?
Somebody said near us, could it be they have to play a certain amount of game time as part of the deal? Do you know, which I've heard in the past, but it's a bit, you couldn't really get away with that. Could you say, well, we put him on for 30 seconds, that counts? You know, it's a bit embarrassing, wasn't it? You know
what? The only time I've seen that guy against Derby, I was very impressed with him as well. But
agreed.
Yeah, he's not going to get in front of Brian now because Brian's playing out of his skin. But I don't know if there's a chance that we could sign that guy. I wouldn't mind bringing Zach Sturge in. From what I've seen,
I'm like you. But I did hear a rumor that it was a non-starter, that, and then somebody else said he's out of contract, so it could be. But look, he hasn't had any game time, has he? Because as you say, Brian, I thought Brian man of the match again for me. Probably him or Jensen Saturday. Look, Bobby T there. Thanks for coming on, Bobby. 21 points to play for. Liam Roberts is coming back, and we can still do it. I love your enthusiasm, Bobby. And look, fingers crossed. I just want to get a few wins under our belt starting Saturday, which we'll come on to. I think we might as well do that right now, guys. So what's this? Just this one, sorry, from Hassan. Don't forget Triple B from Bright. Yeah, absolutely, Hassan. He should be back in the next week or two, shouldn't he? Or certainly fit, whether he needs to then get match fit and what have you. But there's high hopes for him as well, isn't there? I believe so.
That guy is proper rapid.
Abundant.
That guy is proper rapid. That guy, Triple B. From the YouTube highlights that I saw, wow, he is fast. Yeah, maybe to get a bonus. Must be.
Sorry, my Wi-Fi's going in and out, Angelo. So I'm only getting. I think you just called me a wanker, but I'm not sure.
Split an appearance bonus with Alex Neil. Put me on, Guff, and we'll go 50-50.
It must be.
I actually think just on that with Sturge, I actually think he was brought in under the basis that Joe Bryan was having a few difficulties and probably was told, look, there will be opportunities for you. And Joe Bryan's looked and gone, nah. No, I'm not being replaced. I'm not being replaced by a youngster yet. There's still life. Whatever's happened, whatever I suggest there, but
Stephen,
it's worked.
Yeah, it's two things, right? It could be Zach Sturge, but also Brian really, really sings Alex Neil's praises, doesn't he?
Yeah,
I've heard him do it numerous occasions there. He was saying he's the best coach that he's played under, which is like really, really high praise indeed, isn't it?
And when your players have got Joe Bryan as well has played. He played in probably arguably one of the best championship sides there's ever been in Fulham, and got promoted, whatever. So that is high praise. Obviously, look, there's always this. Brian might want to stay. He wants to get his contract extended, and Mill will have the option to do that. So maybe it's been a bit tactical, but you can't come out and say those things like that and have that level of praise if there isn't any truth to it. So whatever Alex Neil is doing to Joe Bryan, keep doing it, because he looks a completely different player.
Them interceptions that he makes so many interceptions there, doesn't he? Where he just gets the ball and just fantastic, really is.
Excellent.
He's been a revelation, I must admit. Guys, I do apologise. My Wi-Fi is really bad. I've just realised it's 9 o'clock, and obviously all the builders in this hotel are going to their rooms and putting the porn channels on, so it's getting a bit of heavy traffic at the moment.
Ordering the brasses in.
But I won't answer the door if it gets a knock. So, guys, we're an hour in. I just want to once again, we've got about 200 people on the live so far. So thanks for listening. We really do appreciate your support. Please like and subscribe. Everything we do, everything money we raise goes to charity for the great cause of cancer research. And on that note, we've got a great event coming up on the 12th of April, Middlesbrough at home. Please get down at the Den to cheer the boys on, but also all the Chat with Chaps team will be down there collecting for cancer research. It'd be great to meet a lot of you face to face. And there's also Chris is going to also announce a pre-order site for ordering the T-shirts, where all the money, all the proceeds will go to the cancer charity as well. So look online, you can see the T-shirts. I think there's a white and a blue one, modelled by Millwall players. Really, really great to get their support as well. So please look out for that and support us any way you can. So thanks for that. So, no, somebody's asking there. Sorry, Alex. If I had a better Wi-Fi, we'd have had a quiz tonight. But that's Joe's domain, so he'll be back next week with that for you. What we are going to do is just snuggle on to Saturday's game. So we'll kick off with you, Stephen. What are you expecting in terms of lineup and sort of approach to the game?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I'm slightly not concerned, but I think Angelo said it at the start, and the more I think about it, the more it's true. It was like a pre-season game. Pre-season game on Saturday. We just looked like it was going through the motions. Nothing really was happening. The atmosphere was a bit flat. The players they just went about their business in sort of a reserved way. And I wouldn't like us to go out with a whimper. I still want us to finish as high as possible. I want us to pick up as many points as possible. I fully expect us to have a bit of a battle on Saturday. Portsmouth away from home and not the side they are at home, but they've got some good players. They picked up some good results. I think they beat Leeds a couple of weeks ago at their play at Portsmouth. So confidence is high. I don't know what to expect. I thought we were really going to go for it in these last few games, and Neil obviously didn't do that on Saturday. So there's nothing to suggest that we're going to do it again. But I'd like to think we will. I would love to see Ivanovic back in. I think we've got to give him these last few games to get him some more experience in the Championship. I want Leonard back in at right back. I think we've all established that he is the better option to be playing there. I want the youngsters to get a little bit of time, but maybe not throw them all in. But that
No.
Matthews has got 4 goals in 3 games. I don't think it would hurt giving him 15, 20 minutes at the Den as well, in front of a home crowd, certainly. But what I expect from the game, I have no idea. I have no idea. It's weird because the last few seasons we've had something to play for going into these last few games. This is a new feeling for us over the last couple of years. We really don't know what we're going to get.
Yeah. Angelo?
Portsmouth, like Steve said, they're a completely different team away from home than they are at Fratton Park, which really surprises me because they are a fantastically well supported club, and I know they take thousands and thousands and thousands to away games, but yet they've, apart from Plymouth, they've got the worst away record in the Championship. They've only won 2 away games the whole season. They've conceded.
Were they 4-4 or 3-3 with Leeds at the beginning of the season? The
3-3.
3-3. Yeah. I know it's first game.
And then they beat them, didn't they? The other week at home. Yeah, they've conceded like 43 goals away from home as well. So, but then again, I think it was someone just posted a minute ago. You know, at the Den, we're not that great ourselves. We've lost 7 games at home this season, which we've really, really got to put that right next season. To lose 7 games at home, we've won 8 games, drawn 4, and lost 7. That's terrible for the Den. You know, the hostile Den where everyone's scared to come and play.
Yeah.
When you look at them numbers, it doesn't look very scary to me, does it?
Jurassic Park, I think, is the what's been used at the moment, isn't it? That's what we've been described as. Is something like that, I think.
Oh, the Daily Mail prick, that guy, yeah. So, you know, but look, I think we mentioned him earlier.
Is that the?
Yeah, 1-0 Pompey. Yeah. But yeah, I think their their danger man is obviously Murphy, that we've got to keep an eye on. And they've got, you know, that guy who had the heart problems, their striker. Is it Bishop?
Okay, is it Colby Bishop, I think?
Yeah, you know, he's a handful. He's a strong, old-fashioned. You know, he will cause some problems as well. He's not got a lot of pace, but he's just one of them strikers that, you know, the defenders know that they've been in a game. So, but yeah, with their away record, we should win. But yeah, the Den record is not that great, is it? So.
Look, echo that. It worries me our form at the Den isn't great, and it doesn't fill you with huge confidence. But for me, it will be a good atmosphere. I think David Turner was saying, look, I hope the fans are not on holiday and turn out, which I agree. I think it will be a decent turnout. They'll bring plenty. They'll be a sold out, and they'll be right up for it. The old Pompey chimes will be, or bells will be chiming. So, look, we need to be careful. If we are not at it, we could come unstuck because they're fighting for their lives. Let's be honest, that is a dogfight down there now because Luton are starting to put some form together, so they're going to probably inch out of it. So, you know, they need the points, so they're going to come at us and they're going to want to win this game. So we've got to be at it. If we start poorly, I'll be really worried. But hopefully, I can see Alex. Look, obviously he'll want to win the game. I don't think he'll experiment too much. When we're talking about playing youngsters, etc., I don't think that'll happen Saturday. Maybe on the bench, like we've said, but surely we've got enough in our locker to win that game. You know, we really should be winning that game without a doubt.
Do you know what as well, mate? Right, they're 7 points off bottom 3, yeah, but they're only 6 points behind us. So you know, it's not easy.
I tell you what, though. On that, Derby have a game in hand. I think it might be tomorrow. They play Preston. Now I know, you know, Preston are just below us. I think if Derby were to win that game, and they would then obviously go above Cardiff, Portsmouth would then only be 5 points off of the bottom 3, and the picture completely changes. So then I think they're looking good at the moment, but all teams that we would be, if we were on 45 points and looking at that, we'd be sat here going, yeah, we're not safe yet. We need to pick up a few results. So their supporters will be doing exactly the same thing as what Swansea are on 45 points. And their fans will be thinking, look, let's get a couple more wins under our belt and get it job done. They'll be coming to us on Saturday to win the game and try and ease any relegation fears. No doubt.
I like Portsmouth as a club. They're a good old-fashioned club, great support. There's a little bit of Millwall like Portsmouth. They've got good fans. I'll tell you what,
they're a proper.
That bottom of the Championship is going to be quite exciting, isn't it? Because Derby and Luton have just come into form, which is going to drag Stoke, Oxford, Hull, and Cardiff. I reckon Cardiff are going to go down.
Yeah.
But yeah, will Gary Rowett be going down as well?
Yeah, that's the one. Oxford are the one.
Yeah, their record has been pretty poor. They've had one win in 5, Oxford. Yeah.
They're getting dragged right into it. I must admit, now you say that, Stephen, about Pompey, I'd actually say they'll probably come to not get beat. A point will be very good for them. So I think they're going to actually set up to keep it quite tight and catch us on the break. So it'll be the onus on us to break them down, which isn't our forte, although we're trying better now at that. So fingers crossed. I still think, go on, give us a score prediction.
My only concern with that, sorry though, Steve, is that we don't set up to go out and attack teams and really try to get on the front foot. We just don't do that. And Portsmouth might see that as an opportunity to come at us. Look, their away record is poor. We should be winning the game at home. There's no two ways about it. But if we're not at it, they could see it as an opportunity to turn their away form round right when it matters the most. So I just hope get on the front foot, try and pen them back in a little bit, and then go from there.
Do you know what? I've a couple of times that I've watched them as well. They've got a guy on loan from West Ham. His dad used to play for West Ham. Potts. Yeah, I can't remember his first name.
Yes,
Stevie Potts. Yeah, his son is on loan at Portsmouth. I've been very, very impressed with that little kid. He's quite dynamic in the midfield. So hopefully we'll give him a bit of West Ham stick because he's on loan from West Ham. So
he got it in the away game or their home game. But they've got some good players. They've got some good players, And look, to be fair to them, with the start they had, they've done really well to get where they are. And it's mainly it is totally their home form where they're very, very strong. Look, I think it's a big game for Alex, isn't it? He wants to start winning home games and getting, a bit of a castle mentality at home, So we need to be winning. Give us a score prediction quickly, and in the chat, guys, give us your score predictions for Saturday. Stephen, what are you going for?
2-0 Millwall. I don't think it'll be comfortable. But I will say I reckon we'll see Jake Cooper and this is controversial, Luke Cundle to score.
Ooh, like it. You like that one, Angelo? Go on, what are you going for?
I'm going for a 1-0 and I'm going to go for Joe Bryan.
1-0 for you, 1-0 for Jeff Cook there as well, and Joe Bryan as well. Look, you're all Mark Murphy's going for 1-0. Craig 1-0. London Lion says we're going to lose 1-0. Bloody hell, London Lion, crikey. 2-0 for who's that? Alex going for a 2-0. Tell you what, I would have gone 2-1, but I'm going to throw it right in the mix now. I'm going to be confident. I'm going to say a crazy 4-1 win to the Lions. And Stephen will be saying next week, now I know where we're trying to score goals.
I tell you what you want to do at the end.
That, but you never know.
You want to go and see what the odds are for us to win 4-1. Because I'll tell you get a few money. There you go. I'm going to put a bit of money, get a few money back.
This goes, shut the mini bar in the hotel room, mate. Shut that mini bar.
I don't know if is he still there?
Yeah, he's frozen.
Sorry, I'm getting like you're underwater with the bloody Wi-Fi. I do apologise. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carry on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Right,
you.
sorry, guys. And to everybody, I'm sorry, I'm on bad Wi-Fi. I'm trying to get a message on RPJW. Sorry, you've missed the quiz. No, there's been no quiz. It's the Wi-Fi. If there'd have been better Wi-Fi, I'd have done it. But have I been attacking the minibar? No, I'm going to after this. Don't worry, that's for sure. But guys, so that's Saturday. Keep your score predictions coming in if you want to. End of season awards. We're getting closer and closer to where we're going to have to be voting for probably the three main prizes. Yeah, Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year, and Goal of the Season. Shall we have a little quick chat about that and see who's in the frame for Player of the Year to start with? And guys, put your comments online as well. Tell us who you think will be our Player of the Season. Who do you think, Angelo? Let's kick off with you.
Yeah, I think it's just a no contest this season, isn't it? I think last season was a no contest with Lenny, and I think this season it's just a no contest with Jaffet. But the surprising thing is that Joe Bryan will be in the top three, which if we'd have said that at the beginning of the season, would have been put in the nuthouse for saying that. But yeah, it's going to be very difficult. Casper De Nor's done great, but yeah, Tanganga for me. Although, like we did speak about, he's gone off the ball a little bit. I thought he could have done better as well. I didn't like the way he defended that when he gave that penalty away on Saturday. But listen, we don't want to. I thought we could have done a lot better there. But no, I think Jaffet number one for me, Joe Bryan number two, and Mihailo or maybe Casper number three.
Yeah,
that's my one. Yeah. That's my 1, 2, 3. As we stand,
Joe Bryan second. Joe Bryan, that's some turnaround.
Yeah, I think so because he has really turned it around, hasn't he, mate? And who else is there? it's been one of those seasons where it's very, very hard to find outstanding players.
I must admit, my vote for Player of the Season is actually going to go for Casper De Norre. I might be in a minority. I know there's a few people that which will say it, but my vote will go for De Norre. I think he has improved and has been very, very good throughout. I think Jaff, if you'd asked me in December, it would have been a landslide, and I think he'd have got about 95% of the votes, hands down. But since Christmas, I think De Norre has gone from strength to strength, and Jaffet's just not. Tanganga second, though I think he still deserves, the plaudits for how good he was up until Christmas. And I think I was thinking who else are we going to put third? Who else is there? And I think Joe Bryan is up there as good as anyone for that third place for me. There isn't a lot of options. Jensen, I think perhaps Liam Roberts for the outcry of what the Daily Mail might write about us if he won Player of the Season. But no, for me, Casper De Norre won, Tanganga second, but very close, and Joe Bryan number 3.
Yeah,
Steve?
Yeah. Look, some good. That's a great comment there from RPJW. Langstaff runs away with it. Actually, fantastic. Yeah, and laughs out loud for Liam Roberts. Yeah, that would be a good one as well for the press, wouldn't it? If we voted in Player of the Season or Tackle of the Season. But yeah, I think for me, despite a slight dip in form, but that form is at a very, very high level. Jaffet is head and shoulders above anybody in the club right now. Honourable mention, Casper for me would be second place. Interesting saying Joe Bryan there. Look, I'm amazed with him. The last 10 games, I think he's been consistently very good. Enough to be Player of the Season, I'm not sure. Really good call there from. Apologies. want to get it so they get recognition for it. I do
Was
apologise.
it Chris Brown?
Was it Chris Brown who said Jensen top 3? Yeah, Chris, good shout. Good shout. And on the back of what we were saying earlier, I mean, that would be great for his confidence as well, you know. So, and actually, on actual performance, you'd actually say that's probably that is a bloody fair call, to be honest. So I'm going to nick that one, Chris. I'm going to go.
Do you know what? If he didn't flap at these corners, I think definitely top 3. If he didn't flap,
yeah.
But I've been really pleased with him. I'll definitely have him 4th, definitely.
Yeah, but look, lots of votes for Jaff, lots of votes for Casper. Liam Roberts Lifetime Achievement Award. Yeah, that would be a good one. Divides the fan base. Joe Bryan absolutely has done this season. So let's kick on to Young Player of the Year then. I think there's a standout one there, but we've already had a few votes for RBW. Angelo, who are you going for Young Player of the Year?
Does the BFS class as Young Player?
Yeah.
Yes, I would say so. Yes, I would say so. Good shout. Yeah.
Right. RBW is going to be outstanding in the future, and I think he's going to have a stronger and better career than Ivanovic, yeah? But for time on the pitch and goals, I think I'd have to give it to the Serb, mate. But
so really, you dropped out BFS.
Yeah, really, really close.
BFS. Yeah.
Because you know, RBW just hasn't played enough, has he? It's a tough one, mate. But I think the BFS needs some recognition for some outstanding goals and so many different types of goals. You couldn't get more different types of goals, could you? You just couldn't get it, and he's got that in his locker. So I'm just going to just about give it to BFS.
That's a good shout. Good shout. Yeah. There's lots of votes coming in for BFS as well. Stephen, your thoughts?
I don't think Bangura Williams has played enough to warrant being the Young Player of the Season. I think on talent and ability, Bangura Williams is a better footballer than Mihailo Ivanovic. But in terms of the contributions to the team and what Ivanovic has brought to us, I think it's it's worth noticing as well that Ivanovic's goals, most of them, if not all of them, have earned us points. They've been winners. They've got us a point at the end. Yeah. They've contributed to getting us to where we are. I know we'd always like to be higher, but he's contributed vital goals to earn us points. So I think it's got to be Ivanovic. I could understand, because I think, isn't it Alex Neil who isn't it the manager that has to give out the young player? He decides who it is. I'm sure Harris did it last year for Romain Esse. So Alex Neil might see Bangura Williams. You know, he's a lot of praise for him, and I could understand it. But if it was up to me, it would go Ivanovic.
And do you know what? Yeah. An RBW, he made a lot of him goals for Ivanovic as well, which is great. You know? I think for me, it's just purely because Ivanovic has had more game time and obviously got them goals. But brilliant for RBW.
I totally hear that, and I understand you saying, and he would be a very justifiable winner of that. I'll plump for RBW. I don't think. Look, to me, it's not just about first team performances. He's been ripping it up in the 21s. He's rise from the 21s into the first team. Don't forget England, set up as well. And I know the BFS is in the Serb setup as well. But I personally, Young Player of the Season, I would RBW for me. But the Serb would be a hugely worthy winner as well. And I'll segue on to now goal of the season, where I do think he will feature highly. So let's get in the chat. Let's get your thoughts on the goal of the season. Which goal would you give goal of the season to? And Stephen, do you want to kick us off with that one?
I I don't think it's any surprise that I'm going to say Mihajlo Ivanovic. He seems to have quite a catalogue of goals, but it might surprise you the goal that I pick as goal of the season.
The worm goal.
No. I'm gonna go with the goal at Portsmouth, because the football that was played, it's not just the finish is class. He runs through, dinks the goalkeeper. The pass from Bangura Williams is outstanding, and the little 1-2. I think it was Bangura Williams and Denort. Everything about that goal, from start to finish, is a fantastic footballing goal. A goal that pundits won't like talking about because it was a Millwall player that scored the goal, and it was a Millwall team goal. It was another one of those, if it's scored in the Premier League, everyone's absolutely raving about it, and you see it on social media for 2 weeks, and Match of the Day do a segment on it. The fact it's us, it's not got the plaudits that it deserved. It was an outstanding goal, and for me, that would be goal of the season. Obviously, that can change. On Saturday, someone could score an absolute belter, and it all changes. Yeah. But for me, Ivanovic at Portsmouth was outstanding.
There's quite a few votes coming in for that, Stephen. So a valid choice there. Interesting one there as well. RPJW, that's BFS free kick was classy.
I think that's Bangura's dad. I think that's Bangura's dad.
Sorry?
I think RPJW is Bangura's dad. I think.
Oh, right. Interesting. Well, welcome, RPJW.
Yeah,
welcome, and thank you for your comments.
In the chat.
Angelo, who are you going for? Goal scorer?
Do you know what? That goal that Stephen just spoke about, I love that goal. The precision pass from Bangura Williams, it was beautiful, and the little chip, fantastic, yeah? But I just feel that the Luton goal. Is he not? Oh, he's not. Right, okay, got that
wrong. He's not.
I do believe he does listen to our show, though. But yeah. I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go for the Luton. I'm going to go for the Luton goal. Again, assisted by RBW. I just feel that control, and then the way that he just takes their defender out of play, and then the beautiful strike straight in the corner. But also, I love the free kick goal as well. But I'm going to go for the Luton goal. The Luton goal for me, goal of the season so far.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Who else has scored a really good goal this season? There must be some other crackers. There was.
This is the thing, that it's hard to remember some of the older goals that we've scored. That's the problem. Like Ivanovic's goals are so good. They're so good that you remember them because how good they were. But Duncan Watmore had 5 goals in no time at all. I'm sure a couple of those were pretty good. I actually thought, if you look at the technique, and I know it's never going to win goal of the season, but the technique of Jaff's goal against Leeds, the little volley at the Den where he finds the bottom corner, that was an excellent finish for a centre back. A really, really good goal. Yes. But I can't help but think Mihajlo's gonna run away with it.
The header, the Coburn header at Watford was a good goal. I didn't realise it was as good as it was when you watch that again. I just thought of another one there. I tell you, in my mind, was it Watmore who scored at QPR when Langstaff crossed it? Now that was a good team goal, build up and great play. But look, let's be honest, the BFS, Jesus, you could pick anyone, even as somebody put in the comments there, when he was down and he headed it in off the floor. I mean, that was a master stroke. It's fantastic. But then he's got the free kick was stunning. The goal at Portsmouth, fantastic. Don't forget the Derby goal was tremendous finish. That left-footed as well, fantastic. But I'm going all out like you, Angelo. Luton for me. The build-up, lovely ball over from RPJW's son, right into his path. and he controlled it and slotted it. It was absolutely beautiful, wasn't it? Great goal. And as a good keeper, he never got a sniff, did he? Their keeper never got near it. So really good goal.
Can we have an honourable mentions for Femi Aziz for causing an absolute meltdown with the Leeds fans and the Leeds admin, because the goal he scored, the second goal Aziz scored in the cup tie, and he did the little DJ celebration, caused an absolute meltdown with them. So we'll give him an honourable mention.
And also RPJ.
Absolutely.
Obviously, I know he's not his dad now, but assist of the season has to go to Bangor Williams, doesn't it? The Cardiff goal, the assist, yeah. Outstanding assist that was. I think that is by far the best assist of the season, and that was a good goal as well, really, wasn't it? Because of the assist.
Spot on. And Pompey was a great assist, wasn't it, for me as well? And Luton, fantastic. That's why young.
Do you know what? The more we're talking about it, right? All these assists from Reece Bangor Williams, he has to play in the 10, doesn't he? You know, he can make all these goals. You know, we've just reeled off 3 goals, and the kid has hardly played. Let's give him minutes in the number 10, and you know he can be the assist king for sure. And I'm sure he'll get a few goals himself.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah. So, look, guys, I think we can be sure BFS is going to feature strongly in Best Goal of the Year without a shadow of a doubt. And but look, there'll be worthy mentions for many other players and goals as well. And look, good time for us. Interesting, a lot of love for Millwall at the moment. And we talked earlier about a lot of youngsters coming through. It's a good time to be at Millwall. But just before we finish off, a little bit of negativity in the press this week. A small newspaper just won't let it go because we've banned them from coming to the ground. Somebody said earlier, don't give them airtime. I couldn't agree more, but just might give you the opportunity to have a little view on the comments that have been published today by Mr. Holt.
I don't want to give the Daily Mail too much time, too much mention. I don't think they're worth it really for some of the things that how they've gone about their business. All I will say is, if you haven't seen, I think it's Ollie Holt is the journalist that wrote the article that said that we were the Jurassic Park and it's not a nice place and it's this, that, and the other. If you go and have a look on his Twitter feed, his tweets from previous don't link up with his article at the moment. So perhaps he's just trying to get a few more clicks on the Daily Mail website. I don't think he truly believes the words that he wrote. But look, I, much like what Millwall posted, I don't know if you saw it, Millwall posted our home and some pictures of the Den and fans at the Den. The Den is the Den. It's our home. We love it. Okay, it might not be the old Den for some, but the Den is home. And whether you like it or not, and whether we don't really care if you're an away support, we don't care if you like it or not, or a journalist or anybody. We really don't. So we'll take 92nd in the Football League, Mr. Holt. But go back and look at your Twitter feed, because I don't think you truly believe what you posted.
Yeah, Angelo.
Yeah, again, I don't want to give this guy too much airtime either. You know, no one likes us. We don't care. People say what they want. You know, we are a special club, and just piss off Oliver Holt, mate. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm really shocked at you two, to be honest. I think, I'm a bit gutted that, when he's not come fully expensed and been, treated like a lord, he's had to come all on his own to the Den 15 years ago to follow Stockport, and he didn't get a nice warm welcome and a hot pie free and tea and coffee. I feel for the guy. It must be awful for him. So, I think, as you said, Stephen, he's absolutely mugged himself with that tweet that he's put, or 2 tweets where he's actually applauded us for some good things, and then he goes and makes a knob of himself just because he's got banned for overreacting with the whole Liam Roberts scenario. But let's hope he stews in his own piss, as they say in the trade. So he's not getting a lot of love on this show, that's for sure. So we'll move on. I just wanted to say, regular listener to the show, sorry, I missed it earlier, David. Really sorry to hear that. You've been giving us updates over the last few weeks of his son playing in a final for Fisher, and they lost 4-2 on penalties. But I think his son's injured, if I remember rightly. So gutted to hear that, David. Yeah. But thanks for giving us an update, and fingers crossed that your son's getting better quickly, and hopefully have a good pre-season and go again next year. So well done, mate. Billy Smith there asking, I'll go Sheffield. Yeah, I'll be there next week, mate. Definitely going. Me and Jeff Cook will be there. I'm not sure how many Millwall are going to be there, depending on Saturday's result, but we'll go and hopefully ruffle a few feathers at Sheffield. So, guys, before we do any final thoughts, just want to once again say, look, anybody on, please like and subscribe. Everything we do, as you know, goes towards a great charity of cancer research, and the money being raised is growing and growing. So, and we'll share that with you in due course. So thanks, and genuinely, any comments you make, any likes and subscribes you make, all for no cost whatsoever, but it does contribute. You know, you'll be doing something good for a good charity. So please do that. And I will reiterate, great event coming up, 12th of April. At the Den, Middlesbrough at home. Chat with Chap's team will all be there, raising money and collecting money for cancer research in association with cancer research on the day. Lots of surprises, etc. on the day. There's also news coming up on how you can pre-order the T-shirts, where the proceeds will also all go to charity. Chris has put a really lot of work into this, and I know Phil has supported him a lot as well with getting players to support us, etc. So please get involved with that. And there was a rumor, I think last week, Stephen, wasn't it, a couple of weeks ago, that any contributions Joe will match with a drink for any of you. So if you are going down there on the 12th of April.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you can just all go and tweet at Mr. Zampa7, because he did say that for every person that goes and donates into his bucket, he will buy them a beer at the Den. So if you make sure you see Joe on the 12th of April, he will match. But no, obviously we jest, but it's a fantastic event, and it's for a great cause. So any support that you guys can give us on the day will be greatly appreciated.
Spot on. I can just see it now. Me, you and Angelo stood on our own with a bucket, and Joe with a big, massive queue. Brilliant. He'll kill us for this. But no, guys, great calls, and it'll be a great day. So please support that as you can. Guys, we've gone hour and 40. My goodness, sorry about that. A long, long night, but hopefully you've all enjoyed it. Just a quick finish off. Any comments, Angelo?
I was 7 games left. Most of my brain is saying our season's over, but ... we're only 6 points behind sixth place, so can beat Portsmouth. People above us can, Leeds already. They're trying their best to. What's that famous song with Leeds?
Joy Division. Love all
when they start fucking up, they start singing. What's the song?
Leeds are falling apart again.
That's it. Yeah, Leeds are falling apart.
Falling apart again.
Yeah, so hopefully a few of the other teams above us will fall apart as well. But yeah, we're only 6 points away. I know it's a long shot, but long shots come in every now and again. But we must win on Saturday, or the dream really, really is over. And if the dream does come to an end, let's get minutes into these youngsters. Let's get them on the pitch. Let's see what they're all about. But yeah, great show. Thanks for all your interaction. It's been great, and well done hosting it with your porn Wi-Fi, Steve. Done well, mate.
I'm only getting bits of that. I heard porn mentioned, so it sounds like it's that time again. But, thanks, Anjo. Listen, great to have you back on, mate. And yes, Billy. Look, come and say hello, Billy, at Sheffield. I look forward to meeting you there, mate. So, Stephen, any last comments?
Yeah, just to reiterate, the good cause that the shows raise money for. We do it because we love Millwall, but it also that all the money goes to a great cause. Chris and I know I'm obviously relatively new to this channel, but the guys have done a cracking job of raising money, raising awareness, and bringing good content. So pleasure to take part, to help. I'll be there on the day. Chris Brown did put Stephen in his shorts is worth a £5 on its own. Double it, and I'll wear a pair of shorts on the day. And you can hold me to that, even if it's belting down with rain. But no, I always say I appreciate, and I'm sure Chris does. Everybody does. I find it amazing that there's a couple of people out there that want to listen to us, let alone the numbers that we actually get and the support that we get from it. So thank you for listening. I can't quite get on board with Angelo's. The season's not over yet, but if we win on Saturday, we're definitely making the top 6.
Angelo has been Bobby Teed. That's what it is. He's obviously got the Bobby Teed bug tonight. And no, listen, look, reality is that is true, but like you, I sadly can't see it. But sorry, I just wanted to say before I'm going to finish off with make sure we get the last comments. But David Turner there is saying, "Did you hear how we were treated at Sunderland?" I presume he is referring to, because I got bloody done with it, asking us to ditch all our change on the way in. So if you had any change in your pocket, they just said you had to put it in a bucket. That was a charity bucket, in fairness, and I think it was prostate cancer actually, so it wasn't so bad. And I only had about a couple of quid as such, but I heard a young lad had 3 or 4 quid pocket money he had to put in, and various other people 18 quid. A bit of a piss take that you couldn't take coins in.
Steve, can I just jump in? Can I just jump in there? I know for a fact it was actually £160 was taken in change from Millwall supporters before entering the ground at Sunderland, and the club. I'm sure Alex Russell won't mind me sharing this. He actually asked for it to be donated to the Bradley Lowry Foundation. So the money that was taken off of Millwall supporters has gone to that charity, which I know it's annoying, but it has ended up going to a good cause. And as we say that, Steve has just gone completely black screen, and we have no idea if he's. Oh no!
Are you there, Steve? Yeah, sorry, it's this Wi-Fi. Sorry, but look, that's decent to hear. It was interesting. My mate was with me, and they didn't even ask him if he had coins, and he had a big wadgie in his pocket and walked. So it was all a bit of a. I thought it was a bit of a bit of a ruse they were doing. But anyway, look, as you say, if it's gone to a good cause, that's a good thing. But they should warn you in advance. I would have thought something like that. Really,
Steve, I've never been to the Stadium of Light. Is it the home fans below the Millwall fans?
Yes. You're right up in the top tier. I tell you, it's a fantastic ground, good setup. It's far too far away from the pitch, so the atmosphere gets lost. Very manufactured, the music and the chant and all that. No tradition to them, which is disappointing. Absolutely Baltic cold. Freezing cold, I'm telling you. I can't believe it's so cold. Normally take a bob out and that, and I thought, no, it's quite warm today, it'll be all right. Jesus Christ, it was freezing. So it's a good new ground, but it's lacks a little bit of what's the word? What word am I thinking of? It's not got
atmosphere.
It is the atmosphere, but like a feel to it as such. Bit manufactured for me. So just finish off. There's one from Jeff. That's about I'm presuming about Mr. Ollie. Ollie Holt. Well done tonight. Thanks, guys. Just quickly whiz through some of these. Stephen in his shorts as well. That's what you referred to, Stephen. So you've gone on online as confirming you'll do that. Yeah, that's it done, Joe. That's a great show tonight. Thank you very much. Cheers, fellas. Stephen, sorry, mate. That's interesting. Will we be playing Leeds next season? We will have to see. If we lose Saturday, let's help Sheffield United. Yeah, on Tuesday. I don't know about that. I think I'd still want to beat them, to be fair. Great show. Lots of messages. One I just wanted to, somebody just mentioned, just want to finish off. Sorry, guys. Last one there. Can we talk about Jimmy Burson a bit? I think he's doing a good job. Loving that we have assets now. Very quickly, Stephen, some thoughts on that?
I think Jimmy, I was sceptical and I was worried that when Harris was going and it was all changing, that perhaps Jimmy may not have had the same enthusiasm as his dad, but I think that can be put to bed now, and he's doing a great job in his dad's honour, and I think he's trying to get us to live the dream that his dad had for the football club. Whether we do it, that's another issue, but I certainly think he's trying to achieve the dream that his dad had when he was with us. Yeah,
agreed. Angelo, sorry, before that, yeah, David, that's the word, lacks soul. Yeah, agreed. That's the stadium alight. Yeah.
Yeah, regarding Jimmy,
on that?
Yeah, regarding Jimmy, I was like everybody. I wasn't too sure whether he loved it enough, but I feel like he's starting to love it. He seems to be coming to more and more games. He goes to a lot of away games. I hear he's in that new bar before the game quite a lot.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, the Spitfire bar, mingling with the fans, buying the fans a drink. I know that Chris bumped into him at Palace away. So yeah, I think he's growing into it and he's starting to love it. And yeah, if he could get us to the promised land, his dad will look down on us. Very, very proud man.
Spot on. Echo those thoughts, guys. Spot on. So, look, thanks for a great night, guys. I think it's exciting times to be a Millwall fan, especially when you think about the youngsters and the conveyor belt of talent we've possibly got coming through. We need to see it on the pitch now, though, and I think starting Saturday, I'd really like to see a really good performance from the guys. And when we smash them 4-1, you can all thank me next week as the great predictor extraordinaire. So thanks, guys. Again, for the listeners, thanks very much. The show is nothing without you guys and your contributions. Appreciate it. And say, please put in your diaries, 12th of April for the charity day at the Den, Middlesbrough at home, raising money for cancer research. And we look forward to seeing you all down there for that, and look out for the news this week on pre-ordering the t-shirts, again all going to the cancer charity. So thanks very much. Have a great rest of the week, and look forward to Saturday.
Just before we clock off, I just want to say how great it is that the club has allowed us as a podcast to start interviewing players. I don't know if I'm sure everyone's seen it, that we've now got the opportunity to actually interview our current squad, which I think is fantastic. And I know a couple of the others have done it as well. So really, really pleased that they're interacting us with the players. I think it's a massive, massive thumbs up from me to the club. Massive.
Yeah, agree with that, Angelo. You're spot on, without a doubt, mate. And you've prompted me there, at risk of us dragging on any further. It's a pity the ref didn't add as much time as we have tonight. Even though there was an incident in the crowd, he decided to only give 5 minutes injury time, even though he blew up for about 4 or 5. So again, we got stitched up. But hey ho, who wants to be bitter and twisted? If I was, I'd go and write for the Daily Mail. So instead, I'll be happy staying on Chat with Chaps. So thanks, guys. Thanks to all the listeners. Have a great rest of the week, and let's all get behind the lines on Saturday and hopefully get a nice win under our belt. See you later. Bye for now.
Hi, it's Steve Morrison here, and you're listening to Chat with Chaps, chatting Millwall, come rain or shine.